we are going to learn how to build Azure build pipeline in order to build the Docker image and then push the Docker image into Azure Container Registry. So if you look at this diagram, I have my source code set up in GitHub. This is a sample Python based application. I also have Dockerized that Python based application by creating this Docker file. So what I'm planning to do is I want to build the Docker image by building Azure build pipeline and then upload the Docker image into Azure Container Registry. It's a very simple use case, okay? So that our pipeline, right, it should be able to automate the build process, and then it should also build the Docker image as well as upload the Docker image into Azure Container Registry. Okay, so that's what we are going to learn in this simple video. Awesome. So let's get started. If you look at the prerequisites, yes, we need to have Azure Container Registry setup, which I'm going to do in a minute. Okay, so I'm going to use Azure CLI. Okay, I'm going to use that in order to create Azure Container Registry. And then if you look at the second step, we need to have Azure DevOps dashboard. So this is the Azure DevOps project dashboard I'm going to use. So I'm going to build Azure Pipeline in this project dashboard. Okay, and then we already have sample project setup. So if you look at here, this is my sample Python based code. I do have a Docker file already created, right? So this is a Docker file. So we are going to Dockerize this Python based application and then build a Docker image and then upload the Docker image into Azure Container Registry. So that's exactly what we are going to do in this video. Awesome. So let's get started. We need to first create Azure Container Registry, right? So we need to create ACR. So like I said, I'm going to use Azure CLI. Okay, so I have already installed Azure CLI on my machine. Okay, so I have already installed Azure CLI. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to first log in into Azure Cloud. So I'm typing AZ login. This is going to log in into Azure Cloud. Perfect. So I'm logged in now. Okay, perfect. So now we are going to create Azure Container Registry, but before that, we need to create a resource group. Okay, so I want to create a resource group with this name, and then I would like to use South Central US. Okay, so I'm going to copy this command and then go ahead and then execute it. So right now my resource group has been created. Okay, perfect. And then I'm going to go ahead and then create this container registry, right? So basically I would like to name my repo as this name. So make sure this should be unique, right? Make sure, this should be unique. Okay, and of course I would like to use South Central US location, and then I would like to create ACR under this resource group name. Okay, so let me go ahead and then copy this command. Wonderful. As you can see here, the repo has been created, and if you want, you can log in into Azure portal and then verify that. That's not a problem. So let's quickly validate that. Let me quickly log in into Azure portal. Okay, so that is my portal. So this is the resource group which we just created. It might take few seconds to show. Let's see. Or you can also search. Right. Let's see. Azure Container Registry. Wow, there you go. You see here? So this is our ACR what we just created. Okay, perfect. Right, so everything is good. All right, so let me go back to my instruction here. Perfect. So we just created Azure Container Registry. All we have to do is, build a pipeline. That pipeline should be able to check out the code from GitHub, and then it should create the Docker image and then push the Docker image into ACR. Okay, so that's exactly what we are going to do. Awesome. So let's get started. So basically what we have to do is we need to log into Azure DevOps dashboard and then create a build pipeline, right? So this is my Azure DevOps dashboard. So click on pipeline, click on new pipeline. I'm going to use actually classic editor. Of course, you can also, build using YAML file as well, but I want to keep it very simple. So click on the classic editor. And where is my source code? My source code is in GitHub. So I'm going to click on GitHub and we need to authenticate. So click on new service connection. I would like to authenticate with GitHub personal access token. So let me quickly create the token. Go to settings, developer settings, personal access token. Let me generate a new token. I want to keep it 7 days, give full control, that's fine. This is temporary. I'm going to delete the token right after this video, so no one would be able to use the token. So copy the token and then enter the token so that Azure DevOps can authenticate. Perfect. Now I was able to authenticate. I'm going to go ahead and then choose the repository. So what is our repository name? That would be my Python repo. This one. So copy that, enter that. There you go. So select that. And then this is the default branch. I'm fine with that. The branch name is master. Perfect. So go ahead and then click on continue. Awesome. Perfect, right? So now we are going to select the template. So basically what we are trying to do is, like I said, we want to build a Docker image, right? So all you have to do is just type, or you can also choose this. You see here, build a Docker image and then push into a container registry, right? So we are going to select this template, okay? Go ahead and then click on apply. Perfect, right? So now as you can see here, pipeline has been created with these two tasks populated, right? And then if you like to rename the pipeline, you can click on this pencil mark and then rename the pipeline, right? So I want to say my awesome pipeline, right? So you can give any name, it doesn't matter. I want to give my awesome pipeline job. Perfect. And then we need to kind of configure our pipeline, right? Let's see what is this. Yeah, so basically, oh, okay. So it is asking for the agent. Yeah, you can select any agent, doesn't matter. Let's choose Ubuntu 18.04, that's fine. And then we have to customize these two jobs. And then of course, we are also going to add, few other jobs as well. Perfect. So if you see here, we need to, choose the Azure subscription. So click on available subscription, and then I'm going to select this one because I am under pay-as-you-go subscription. So I'm going to use that. Okay. And then click on this one. There you go. You see here. So this was the repo what we had created in Azure portal, right? So you just have to select it. But if you are actually doing for the very first time, it may ask you, whenever you choose the subscription, it may ask you to enter Microsoft credential. Then you can go ahead and then provide that Microsoft credential so that pipeline can authenticate. And then, you should be able to select your Azure Container Registry, right, from the drop down. Okay, perfect. And then rest of the things, I'm going to leave it as it is, right? I'm going to leave it as it is. It is going to build the Docker image. Perfect. And then the second task is, once you build the Docker image, we want to upload into ACR, right? So let's select the same subscription here. Perfect. And then go ahead and then choose the ACR. Perfect. So that is also good. Okay. And then, what we wanted to do also, right? So we want to build the Docker image, upload into ACR, but think about this, right? We want to build this Docker image and then eventually we want to deploy this Docker image into our Kubernetes cluster, right? So it is also important that you copy the deployment YAML file as well. So if you look at here, maybe in the next video I'm going to show you how to deploy this Docker image into AKS cluster, right? For that we need to use this YAML file, right? We need to use this YAML file. So what I wanted to do, I want to add a task in my pipeline so that while building the image itself, you can also copy the YAML file as well, right? So that it is available for your pipeline, right? For your release pipeline to pick up the YAML file from the build pipeline, right? So we need to add a task. So how to do the task? So I have provided instruction over here. If you see here, so we need to go ahead and then add this particular task, right? Copy files to. So let me go to pipeline here and then click on add. I'm going to say copy, and then we are going to copy, add this particular task. Okay. And then, so basically source folder is fine. So what we wanted to copy, you can actually select here, right? So basically we wanted to copy this particular file, right? Because this is the file, which is going to have our image information, everything, right? So I'm going to copy the file name and then mention that file name here, and then where it's supposed to copy. So I want to, let's say, copy into my target directory. So that's fine. I think that is perfectly fine. I think you can say like that. Okay. Let me just verify everything is good or not. So this is good, right? So perfect. Okay. And then once you add the task, we also need to publish the file as well. So I'm going to go ahead and then add a task. Okay, so look for publish. So I'm going to select this particular task. Okay, perfect, right? And then what this is going to do, this is going to copy the files into respective location so that our pipeline can actually pick up, right? Azure build pipeline can pick up, right? So let me just make sure. Perfect. I think everything is looking good. So now what I'm going to do, so we made sure all these 4 tasks have been added and then configured. So now I should be able to build the pipeline. So I'm going to click on save and queue. So click on save and queue and then click on save and run. So now our pipeline is running. So click on this, job agent job 1. So we should be able to see that, pipeline should be able to check out the code, should be able to build the Docker image and then upload the Docker image into ACR. Okay, as you can see here, it is building the Docker image by reading the instruction from the Dockerfile, as you can see here. Wow. So our pipeline has been, completed. It has run successfully, right? So now I should be able to see the Docker image into ACR, and this is also completed, right? Like Docker image has been pushed into ACR. So how do I verify that? So yes, let's log in into our portal, click on our container registry, and then go to repositories. Wow, see here? So this was the image, right? So look at that, 1:26 p.m. Central Time. So that's the time, it was able to, upload the image, and this is the tag, right? And then this is the kind of a Docker pull command, right? So if you want to download the Docker image, this is how, you can download the Docker image from ACR, right? So yeah, so that's it, guys. That's how you would create a Azure build pipeline for building the Docker image and then uploading the Docker image into Azure Container Registry. Maybe in the next video, we will learn how to deploy this Docker image into AKS cluster. Thank you for watching.